Hey everybody, John here from FMP Wargamers. Looks like it is just me tonight. Everybody else is busy. Date nights, sleeping off, taking tests. TJ is on sabbatical, and Alan is still working on stuff with his house. So bear with me today. I'm going to try to go through everything the best I can. Try to answer video or questions and whatnot. My first time actually setting all this up by myself. And I don't have the greatest internet connection. Well, actually, I do have a great internet connection. What I don't have is a decent computer. I've got a new one that's coming, or that's already here. I just need to get set up. I'm just waiting for Ben my IT guy to get it all taken care of. So without further ado, let's see here. I might have jumped the gun a little bit. Usually I think we have it all waiting and people are still watching the chat and everything. But I didn't know how to set that up. So people might be waiting to get on. So I'll give you guys all a couple seconds here for people to jump on. 1 second here. Let me make sure this is shared out to everybody. Hope you guys aren't seeing my desktop. That'd be a little embarrassing. But how's everybody doing today? Everybody have a good weekend with the contrast paints, I hope. It was a pretty cool weekend at my local shop. We ran a nice painting contest. Actually, 2 of them. We let people try out all the new contrast paints, and we had about 20 people participating. It was really cool. There's some interesting paint jobs and paint decisions, but we immediately saw people making different applications that you normally would not think of with it. We've seen people doing it with lead belcher, pushing it through an airbrush, which we did say, yes, you can use it on airbrush. It's not really designed for it, but it does work. And I saw some really interesting metallic looking versions. Some people use the Ard coat. I did not get to see what the Storm Shield looks like in action, but from what I understand, it's very similar to Ard coat. It's just the matte finish. So, and we ran out of that, so I didn't get a chance to get it for myself and try it out. And that was really my own fault. I told everybody, I was like, hey, all employees, nobody can get access to the new paints on this opening weekend or pre-release weekend, because I want to make sure all the customers got a hold of it. But it kind of bit me in the rear because I really, really wanted to try stuff out. So has anybody else tried out the contrast paints yet? Let's see here, getting this shared out. Let's see, do we got any people on yet? Loud and clear, awesome, 12 Neef. Yes, have you did you get a chance to use the contrast paints? All right. Probably going to freak a couple people out because I started the show a little early. There was a while there where people were making bets on at what time we were actually going to start. So I'm going to give a chance for a couple people to get on, but since you're the one person that's on right now, 12 Neef, I'm going to show you a little something. At Warzone Houston, we're doing this army. We're doing a Blades of Corn army that's going to be a charity army, and it's going to be going to the Montrose Center here in Houston. And we're actually going to be live streaming that on July 6th. So hey Tyler, so we actually got donated a number of items, actually everything but the Chaos Fleshhounds. So today I got arrived in the mail the first part of the dragon body for the it's Vorgath, I think his name is. It's the Corn Forge World Dragon. This is the centerpiece for the army, and you can see how big this thing is. Here's a rattle can. This is just the main body. And actually, it kind of looks a little phallic, but that's how big this sucker is, just with its main body. And Forge World did a very good job with this sculpt. It is very, very little flash, and I'm not seeing any, I don't know, discrepancies, any issues with the connecting points. I still have a lot more to go through, but yeah, this week we're going to get this sucker put together. And then we have the other guy, Scrack, something like that. He's a big, giant demon prince guy for Age of Sigmar. So we're going to go ahead and get him built up this week. He's the other leader / Behemoth for this army. So it's actually going to be pretty freaking awesome. I'm excited about getting this guy put together. Let me see if I got another wing part here. Yeah, so here's a wing. Once again, give you guys the size, the scale here. The rattle can, and this is one of his wings. I think it's the right wing. So yeah, pretty cool. So if you guys for those you just getting on right now, Jonathan is out, and so is Ski. I think Ski probably fell asleep doing from school and everything, and TJ is on sabbatical, so you guys are just stuck with me today. So we're not going to talk about too much. I only have a few rumors that I'm going to talk to you guys about. We're going to talk a little bit about Apocalypse. I've got the brand new White Dwarf that we can go over real quick and just kind of give you guys a rundown of what's going on over here. So I guess the first thing is everybody's probably seen all the articles that are popping up right now like wildfire on the Warhammer community site. It's the Apocalypse game that's coming out. That's going to go on pre-order on the 29th. So they're going to have about 2 weeks build up of articles. They've already kind of started that. They have an Apocalypse faction page. So whenever they open up a new faction and they have an article about it, there's also a hyperlink to that on that faction page. So you can actually just keep that faction page like saved on your desktop. And you can sit there and just click on it, go to whichever faction just popped up, and it's already updated there. So yeah, I'm excited about Apocalypse 2, Tyler. I've been playing Apocalypse since it came out, and before my friend Ryan had passed away, we would go over once a quarter to his place. Usually set up a 12x8 table, and it'd be about 4 to 6 of us. We'd average around 100,000 points per side, and we just do big apocalyptic battles. It would take us about 8 hours to get through about 100,000 points. And I might have mentioned it before. Me and my friend Kale, we'd be on opposite sides, and we would actually sit there and text message each other during the game, and we would play it off as, oh gosh, man, my mom's texting me, or why is my girlfriend calling, or whatever. But it was just him and I strategizing to speed the game up, because we just wanted to get the game over with, because 6 to 8 hours into the game, we're already exhausted and we want to go home. So we'd sit there and okay, I'm going to charge your Brass Scorpion with my knight, and so we can get an apocalyptic explosion and just wipe out our side of the board. So we would start moving all of our guys over to one side and try to have this big fight, and then have our Titans fight each other so they could blow up. And the whole time, the other guys are totally clueless, and they were playing for objectives. They were trying to outscore each other, and it was starting to become almost like a tournament for them. But for us, we were just like, man, let's get this over and done with. So I'm excited about Apocalypse coming back out. I talked to my little leak over in the UK, and they gave me a little bit of a actually kind of interesting insight. So I'm not going to go over a lot about the rules that they've already been posting up on the Warhammer community site. You guys can read that, and I probably wouldn't be able to relay it any better than they did. But what I can tell you is this is going to be like playing Epic. Now, I know a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, Epic is coming back. It's coming back because look, there's Imperialis Aeronautica. There's the Adeptus Titanicus. That means that we're going to have Epic back. We're not. I'm 99% sure. I'm only keeping that 1% open just by off chance GW decides, hey, here's a one-shot game of Epic. Seriously doubt it. Years ago when I was an employee, that's one of the things that they had said that they did not want to go back to. That's why they discontinued the line, is because Epic was created so they were able to produce large volumes of models and vehicles and infantry and all that stuff on a scale so people could play those giant epic battles, but they weren't ready for the technology level yet that they are today to do the full scale. So once they did get to that size, and this was probably about 2010, 2011-ish, is when they made this decision. That's when they canceled Epic, and they weren't going to support it anymore. And it's because they just wanted to get people to play the games with the regular size models. And from a business standpoint, it makes sense because that's where all the money is for them. When, yeah, you could, as a customer, go and buy, say, $150 and have a massive, like, 10,000 point army for Epic, but that doesn't make a lot of money for the company. So these full scale models that they have, that's where the money is. And that's why they originally came out with the Apocalypse game back in, I want to say 2003, 2004. I was stationed in Yuma, Arizona, so I want to say around 2004. And that's they did that because they were finally at the level that they could produce these big, massive games because they had such a huge range of models. And so that's where Apocalypse kind of came from, and that's where Epic eventually would start dying off. And now, coming full circle here, the Apocalypse that we're going into now, and I guess it'd be really third edition of Apocalypse. The third edition for Apocalypse, let's just call it that, it's plays a little different than the last two versions. Last two versions was essentially Warhammer 40,000, a regular game, but with stuff like strategic assets and big battle formations, which actually paved the way for the formations that we would get in 6th and 7th, and kind of in 8th with those specialized attachments that they have a little bit. Excuse me. I don't know where I was going with that. The game has kind of like become a whole new, I don't know how to describe it, a whole new thing, because those games with Apocalypse before were very lengthy. I mean, you were spending hours upon hours. We actually ran, when I was stationed in Arizona and then over in North Carolina, we would actually run Apocalypse tournaments. And the Apocalypse tournaments would be 2 days, 3 games. I think it was, if I remember, it was 3,000 or 4,000 points, and it's a 4-hour rounds. They were really endurance games. And this new version of Apocalypse is pretty much cutting all that time in half. So Eddie says, so do you feel that this is paving the way for the next edition? models not leaving the field to the end of the entire round. You know, I'm not sure. My opinion would be no, it is not paving the way for the new edition. I think for them to speed up the game, I think honestly, I think it'll be a reduction in points. We'll start seeing tournaments next year will start shifting to 1750. But I don't think regular 40K will be adopting these rules, because as Games Workshop comes out with these alternate game versions like Warcry and Kill Team, Necromunda, and all these, and now Apocalypse, these are supposed to be self-contained games that have their own unique rule system. And that's why I've had people ask me, hey, do you think Warhammer 40,000 is going to go full Age of Sigmar? And I don't think it will, because that was one of their, I guess, mantra, or one of their corporate things. They wanted each game to be its own separate entity and have its own unique nature, not just with the genre or its background information, but it's actually core mechanics they wanted separate. So no, I don't think they're going to turn Apocalypse into the Apocalypse rules for 40K, because that takes away a lot of the dynamic of the game that we really liked at the regular 40K level. I think all these things that we're seeing coming out for Apocalypse, that's totally designed for making these, excuse me, I had some rough chili, and my body is not liking how hot I made that chili. The speed that these games are going to be played, it doesn't really match up with 40K. And in reality, how these rules that I've been told about and I've been reading about online, they don't match up, I guess, with how 40K is played, and it would really dilute that game and take away, I think, the very essence of it. So I have heard, and I really think it's just rumor mongering and doomsayers and whatnot, that, oh, this is what's coming for Warhammer 40,000, its next edition. If it is, I mean, it's a long shot. I'm going to say I'll give you a 1% chance that it'll happen. 99% chance that it will not happen. And here's the reason why. And this is a little bit of a breakdown of the rules. So when I mentioned earlier about how this game is going to be like Epic, so Apocalypse or Epic was about, you didn't have each individual model roll. You would have those detachments, those squads would make a single attack. And that's, from what the little briefing that I got, that's what's happening here. So this squad will make their attack, and you're not going to have to worry about, well, this is going to take hours and hours because that guy's got 3 squads of 25 Ludas, and now that's 75 shots per squad or whatever. That's going to take forever for him to roll over 150 dice for us to, and we have to sit back, calculate damage, and start rolling saves and all that stuff. They streamline that, so it'll be, that the units or the detachments will be making their actions, and you'll be rolling dice for the entire squad. And it is not going to be, let's use Space Marines as an example. So you won't be going a 10-man intercessor squad rolling 20 attacks. They're going to roll a different dice value, and that's going to count as their attack value. And it's all separated versus attacking personnel and attacking, I think it was vehicles, for to hit and to wound. So when you make an attack roll, say against a Titan against that squad of Marines, you won't be pulling off individual models. You'll just be pulling off entire squads once you reach a certain wound marker level. So you won't be like, oh, well, I need to pull off 5 guys. Now I need to get 5 attacks back. Nothing like that. It's you'll just be having wound markers or hit markers next to them. So you'll end up just pulling off full units or full I'm not sure about squadrons. I think it is the same. If I understood what she was saying, is that if it's something as a part of a squadron, like say a squadron of Lehman Russes, because I think you can buy them in units of 1 to 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then if you lose that squadron, you're going to pull that whole squadron off. Now, they're not going to have those snazzy movement trays. I don't know if you guys saw those. They've got some really snazzy moving trays to make this a lot easier, not only to move around, say, 100 boys on the table, but when you got to remove those 100 boys, it's going to be a lot easier. Now you don't have to sit there and pick one at a time. And I think we're going to see, I would be surprised if we didn't see people using those movement trays for 40K, because they're just, for match play, they're just too good not to use, especially if you're an Orc or a Tyranid player. Or a Chaos player with like 70 Poxwalkers. You know, screw you, by the way. I'm just kidding. If you got 70 Poxwalkers, you're cool. Let's see. What did Tyler say? There's some interesting stuff from Kill Team that I think might be cool for them to pull over into regular 40K. Oh, yeah. You know, there was... Kill Team's got some very interesting mechanics that I would like to see pulled over into regular 40K. But I don't know if they will. It would be really cool. I do think, though, kind of back to what Eddie was saying about is this paving the way for the next edition, I still say no. I'm still 100% behind my decision to say that it's not paving the way. But there could be some hints to design mechanics that we might be seeing in how units are damaged and how to make your attacks. So that interesting thing I was talking about, see if I can pull it up here. Let's see. Well, if my computer wants to. Okay, so yeah, so I'm looking at like, let's see here, the data, like a data sheet for intercessors. So now for Apocalypse, the only thing that you're concerned about is your movement, weapon skill, ballistic skill, your how many attacks that you get, wounds, your leadership, and save. Now, when you guys look at these, you're going to see that they are almost not anything like the 40K version, except for movement, weapon skill, ballistic skill. Like intercessors, they drop from 2 attacks to 1, and they maintain 2 wounds. Leadership from 7 to a 6, and save from a 3+ to a 6+. Now we still don't know what all that means. So that's going to be a big. I really don't know what that means, to be honest. But here's the damage thing I was talking about. So like bolt rifles, they have a new type called small arms. Range stays the same. Attacks is user. So that's probably that's probably relevant to like an intercessor squad. If 5 models is 1 attack, so I bet you 10 is 2 attacks. So you'll probably make actually 2 attacks, 2 dice rolls for that squad against whatever you're shooting. And here's the thing that I think we might see in the future. And this is the part I was kind of talking about, and I could be wrong, but I feel like this is kind of like a hint at what we might see. So we have 2 new stats here: strength against personnel, or SAP, and strength against tanks, SAT. So basically, they're kind of keeping with that whole idea of any weapon can damage anything, which they kind of have right now in Warhammer 40K. But it looks like it's more difficult against a tank. So a bolter, I'm guessing you're going to roll a you're going to roll a D12, and like a bolter against a tank, it's going to have you need to roll an 8+ on a D12. And against personnel, you need a 5+. So it makes sense. And that kind of looks like that'll be how they're going to be streamlining that game for this version, is by reducing the amount of dice that you're rolling, but making it seem still critical for the combat. And yeah, Eddie, I agree. I think the alternating activation would be awesome. I really like that. You see that in a lot of games, and or at the very least, alternating priority like Age of Sigmar. Because somebody in 40K right now, if you get to go first, then it's really putting you at a very distinct advantage. Or second, depending on what army you're playing. Sometimes some of these armies, they will actually want to go second. So that's, yeah, I'd like to see alternating activation in a future version of 40K. Man, that chili was super hot, guys. Sorry. Word on special or heavy weapons, will they have impact in APOC, or if they're going to be purely cosmetic? No, they'll have an impact. Everything that's in print right now, from what she had told me, and actually from what my regular rep had told me, everything's getting data sheets. So everything is going to have an effect. It's just going to be cut down. So you might not have, say for plasma guns, you might not have the variable setting where, oh, this unit, I don't want them to fire on the supercharge. I want them to fire on the regular setting. It's now just looks like it's just going to be one setting for everything. So I don't think you have to worry about the plasma. This new thing is about using all your models. They want you to get your entire collection on the table, so to speak. Literally, they would love to see these massive games with your entire collection, and that's how Apocalypse kind of started out. They wanted you to play with your entire collection. They didn't care if you were like a victim of shiny model syndrome and you just bought all the cool models. They just wanted you to get all those models that you have, get them on the table, and battle it out with somebody. You didn't have to use a lot of reasoning by why you have a Necron Lord and a Harlequin troop and some Space Marine scouts all fighting on one side. You didn't have to really worry about that. And I don't know if they're going to carry that over. I'm hoping they will, because I mean, Apocalypse is about getting those big, giant, nasty battles. They want that entire collection out there. So by doing that, they have to streamline it if they want it to, from what I'm understanding, to make these games go by faster. Because I think it's one of the things why Apocalypse died, is because 6 to 8 hour games or longer. I mean, it was marathon. People don't want to do that all day, especially if you're married, or you're getting married, you got a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and you're getting aggro because you are there playing a game with your little toy soldiers all day. So speeding this game up looks like it is the thing that they're trying to accomplish here. And reading a little bit about how people's abilities work, how weapons do their damage and whatnot, it looks like you're still going to be rolling lots of dice, but not in the same fashion where it's going to be roll to hit, roll to wound, roll to pen, roll armor saves. As detailed as we do it now, it looks like it's going to be a lot more straightforward. I mean, I could be wrong. But I'm just trying to base it off of what I've read so far, what I've been told from both my trade account rep and from my leaker. I'm not sure that's the right term. Leaker, leaky, my snitch, I guess. I don't want to call her a snitch because she's really nice and generous with giving me information. But the biggest thing is, looks like it is speeding up the game, and that's the most important thing, is having these super fast games with 10, 20,000 points per side. Another thing that I saw, and I'm sure you guys did too, is, and I think somebody might have mentioned it just a minute ago, the turn sequence and how they're going to be doing that. And this is something I kind of like this idea to carry over into 40,000. This is wish listing. I don't have any rumors or any way to confirm that this is what happened. But I do like this concept of determine who goes first that turn. So constantly changing a priority like Age of Sigmar. And then you carry out your phase of move, shoot, close combat. And then once you're done, but before you resolve damage, your opponent does the same thing. And then from there, after both of you guys have done your moving, shooting, close combat, psychic shenanigans, then you sit there and do your damage. So it's all simultaneous action. I think that there's an appeal to that. Will it carry over to 40K regular match play or narrative play? I doubt it. I think it might be kind of cool. So we'll see. Let's see. Let me get caught up on some questions here. Eddie, I don't know about if the same detachments if they have to be separate or not. From what I was gathering is that there are going to be bonuses for having a detachment. So like, hey, this is my Ultramarine detachment. Fantastic. This gets me these bonuses because it's an Ultramarine detachment. But since I'm a modeler and a hobbyist and a collector, I also have an Imperial Fist and a Crimson Fist collection. So I can form up these two other detachments and they get those benefits. So I don't know all the details yet. I only got a little bit of a leak and I'm supposed to get a little bit more in a couple days from the gentleman that I get a little bit of information from. He actually got to sit down and play test the game. He's one of those many GW employees that got to go to basically the home store and test it out about a week ago or so. Yeah, I think it was about a week ago. They all got to, well, here in the U.S., they got to go to Dallas and try it out. In the UK, I'm not sure where he went, but they all got to sit there and play the game. And there's actually a couple groups that have actually got to play too. Like I think Tabletop Tactics, they got their hands on it a little early too. So we're waiting to hear back from them. Yeah, I'm hoping that you can combine Space Marine detachments, like a generic one, like basically an Adeptus Astartes generic detachment. But I don't think that it'll have any special rules. That's probably where the fun will be, is you'll get those Space Marine detachments for Ultramarines and Imperial Fist. Chaos will get theirs. Black Templars will get theirs. Yeah, I'm trying to temper my hype on this too. I get a little excited about Apocalypse. The only thing I'm worried about is the game mechanic. But what I've been seeing so far, Tyler, is that it actually will kind of make the game go a lot faster. And to me, that's very appealing. I don't care about the individual unit soldiers, because you're now looking at this game from a much larger tactic or a strategist or general point of view. It's almost like on those war movies where you see them moving the pieces on a board, or kind of like playing Risk, where you're moving a little soldier over here onto this little area of the map. That soldier represents like a battalion or a division or something. And now we're kind of getting that level with Apocalypse now. And so we're going to be looking at fielding whole companies and moving them around. Dang, you have 3 Stompas ready? Jesus. So yeah, get those 3 Stompas built, because that's coming out. I don't know if I said it, but July 6th is going to be the drop date for Apocalypse. The same weekend that we're going to be doing our live show for the Blades of Corn Army. And I see we got a bunch more people on, so let me show those people a little something now. couple of you guys that were already on got to see it first, but I'm going to show you guys all next. So real quick, stuff about Apocalypse. On July 6th, we're going to do a 24-hour live paint-a-thon. That members of FMP and a couple others are going to help us do a charity army. And during that paint-a-thon, yeah, we'll go with paint-a-thon, we are going to be doing a Blades of Corn army, and we'll have a charity link. And I believe, though, I think it's going to be on Twitch. I think you'll be able to still see here, but the link for the donations will be on Twitch. And that money is going to go to a veterans group. And then that Blades of Corn army is going to be auctioned off at Warzone Houston the following weekend. And that will go to the Montrose Center in Houston. So the centerpiece for this Blades of Corn army is, let me pull them up here, is this bad boy right here. Doesn't look like much, but this is the body of, I believe it's Vorgath, the corn dragon from Forge World. The model was actually donated to us, but the donatee, the gentleman does not want to reveal his name, which is, we're cool with that. So to give you guys a size reference real quick, here is a can of primer, and that is the dragon's body. Yeah, so this sucker is pretty, and this is hefty too. This is probably a good 2 pounds, maybe 3. All right, so anyway, so that's all about Apocalypse. Like I said, there is a lot still coming out. Though I would say from the best way to describe Apocalypse as of right now is that it is a full-scale epic game. So full scale as in you get to use your regular 28 millimeter size miniatures, but essentially using epic rules. And not literally epic rules, but along that lines. So pulling off the full units or using a full unit to just make a single attack instead of rolling 30 bolter shots, that sort of thing. So yeah, we're going to get a lot more information. We're going to be doing, I think, another video around Friday. As soon as I get that extra information, I want to do another video and walk everybody through what gameplay is actually like for the Apocalypse that's coming out. So just kind of watch the Facebook channel, or if you get like notifications that, hey, we got a live show coming up, just watch for that. Maybe Friday, I'm hoping, cross my fingers. I should have the information. Today's Tuesday. I'm thinking I'll have it. I think I'll have it Thursday. Okay, so let me check my time here. Good, I'm still on time. For those that have just joined in, everybody is, I don't know, I'll be honest, I have no idea where everybody is. I believe TJ's on a sabbatical, family thing. I believe, I'm guessing, that Jonathan's on date night, which I guess if you have kids, some of you probably have kids out there. If you have a chance for date night, you take it. And Ski, my bet is Ski had a lot of schoolwork to do. So I'm pretty sure Ski is passed out, asleep. And Alan is still taking care of stuff at home. So you guys have to deal with just me tonight. Sorry. Well, me and my girls back here. And my girls over here. Always watching me. Yeah, it's a little creepy. This is why I don't have any girlfriends, I'm guessing. Okay, so let's go into real quick about the White Dwarf. Finally has come out. I don't know. Lots of talk about how this magazine is actually going to start releasing in mid-month. I'm not sure about that. It just seems really weird that they would do that. I really don't know how to. I really don't know, to be honest. I don't see any point to them doing it mid-month, but it could be a sales thing, could be a financial thing. I would have said they might be doing it so they can advertise next month's releases, but they don't do that anymore in the magazine. Now it's just chock full of stuff. So, man, I really don't know why they're doing it. It's a little frustrating because, I mean, I really like looking at the White Dwarfs. So when I go through the White Dwarfs, it's got all the normal articles. They're still continuing to do the oh man, I'm sorry about that, Tyler. It shows up a month late. You might want to contact Games Workshop and find out why that is. That, unless you're like in the middle of, I don't know, Egypt or some third world country, which I apologize if that sounds harsh, but if you're in a place where mail is hard to get to, then that's bad. So sorry, dude, you have to wait a whole month. So I won't ruin too much of this because Ski would actually kick my butt. He's actually going to be doing another show very soon about what is in this. One of the cool things that they've been doing pretty much every month, and they're going to keep doing, is include rules for Age of Sigmar or Warhammer 40,000. They're going to basically keep alternating. And actually, I think Lord of the Rings too. I think about a month or so ago, they had some new rules for new unit types, or not unit types, but companies or formations. You live in Alaska, you lucky dog. I really like to live in Alaska. I don't know why I moved to Texas. I'm from the north, so being here in the heat, I hate it. I love Houston, but I hate the heat. I miss snow and ice. Anyways, so I'm going to leave it for Ski because he'll kill me, or just have stern words and tell you, getting the stank eye from Ski and feeling through the screen, or just when you're around him when he's disappointed or a little upset, it's not a comfortable feeling. So I'm just going to say that inside this White Dwarf has got a whole bunch more War Scroll battalions for the Fire Slayers. There is a grand one, and then there's 3 little ones. And then I'm not going to say what else is in here, but there's another War Scroll for somebody. Let's just say that there's a scroll for a named person in here, but I'm going to let Ski handle that. Then there's new battle plans, and then a very snazzy paint guide that I can talk about, and because I'm actually helping my friend Kevin paint up his Fire Slayers tonight. So I'm really, or not tonight, but this week, to help him get ready for Wargames Con and Warzone Houston. So very interesting. They talk about using actually Wraithbone and Greyseer in here, and I'm betting that they're going to say to use some of their contrast paints. Well, actually, no. They don't say to use contrast paints. Oh, yeah, there they go. Painting the Magma Droth. There's a nice how to paint the Magma Droth in here using contrast paints. Holy crap. I'll kind of put this up here. This page over here has a step-by-step essentially on how to paint the Magma Droth using the contrast paints. And I'll tell you, when you guys crack this open, holy crap, that is awesome. And since I'm going to be helping Kevin paint his Magma Droths, we might have to reprime those suckers so I can do this. So it's still got a lot of its typical articles in it, guys. There's a nice little battle report in here, Tale of the 4 Gamers, some more stories. There's some new scenarios, especially if you're doing any of the Vigilist stuff. It's really just your typical thing, except if you guys are big fans of Slaanesh and you guys have been waiting for to see the rules, and you haven't actually bought the models, which if you want to, come on over to Atomic Hobby Shop, buy the models. A little shameless plug there. They actually put the rules for the Demons of Slaanesh, all the new ones, in this magazine. So we got the Keeper of Secrets, Shalaxi Hellbane, and if I'm butchering these names, I apologize. Sil'Eski, that's the named Demon Prince, the Contorted Epitome, and the Mask. So all their new rules, their new data sheets are in the magazine, plus the point names, what warlord traits they get. So everything that you need is actually in the White Dwarf. If you haven't bought the models and you kind of wanted to guess, or I mean, kind of like list build, or if you're like a lot of people out there, you have some creature caster miniatures and you wanted to be able to use the rules, but you don't have to buy the models to get the rules, the data sheets in there. Get this much White Dwarf, you'll be set. Pansy, when it comes to heat, 59 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm sweating like crazy. I would love it to be 59 degrees. I start sweating around 71, 72. I try to keep my place at like 70 degrees. So I feel you there, Tyler. So real quick finish this up. There's not a lot of else for the demons in there. And I think most people have already seen the rules online, or if you got Army Builder, I forget what that app is called, Battle Scribe, then you've already probably seen the rules. So let's see here. What else we got? Oh yeah, some more stuff about if you're a Lord of the Rings player, they got some information in there. There's a couple of new scenarios. They talk about the new Chaos Bane video game. There's a new Kill Team mission, but you are using the tiles from the Blackstone Fortress, actually. So that, I don't think that's like going to be official Kill Team type stuff right there, but it's that's actually very interesting, getting some versatile use out of your Blackstone Fortress tiles. And it looks like it's really ultra close confines, narrow. Oh yeah, there's two scenarios in here, and all the rules for fighting inside the Blackstone Fortress for Kill Team. So if you're a Kill Team fan, definitely get the magazine. There's some really awesome scenarios in there, and actually looks like they're gonna be really tough, because if you've actually played Blackstone Fortress, it is, you have some wide open areas, but a lot of areas are these narrow passages where only one model is going through at a time. So, and of course they give a 1, 2, 3 scenarios, four scenarios for Blackstone Fortress. If you have the Amble set, there's 4 more scenarios, and looks like that is about it. A little bit of Blood Bowl stuff. It looks like they might be talking about some stuff for what is that? Shadespire or Underworlds. No, man, don't worry about that, Tyler. It's everybody's like that. I've still got several sprues of that stuff. The only one I did do, because I did a demo when I worked at a different store. I put together a whole bunch of models and only like 3 or 4 of the heroes to do the demos, and the rest is just still sitting on a sprue. I mean, if you're not in a rush to use them, don't sweat it, man. So Blood Bowl stuff, yeah, I'm telling you. Oh, there's a nice article in here about Aaron Dembski-Bowden, Q&A with him. If you guys haven't had a chance, oh my God, if you haven't had a chance, get Spear of the Emperor. That book's, I think, coming out in hardback or softback real soon. So if you missed the collector's edition, get that book. It is really freaking awesome. And it's maybe about, I think it's present day in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. So about 100 some odd years after Gilliman, so has reappeared. And it really kind of shows you what's going on in the 40K universe. and a lot of some stuff that were behind the scenes that we didn't even know what was going on. So definitely pick up that book. It is brutal and it's very awesome. It's from a human standpoint, so you can actually can feel, as you read it, you kind of get the feel of what it's like to be around the Space Marines, and they do a very freaking good job. And there's another short story in here. Yet again, there's like about 4 short stories in this book. And one of these is actually a short story about the Emperor Spears. So get a chance to take a look at that. Let's see here. Next month, they don't really tell us about what's next month except for this. Index Astartes Blood Raven. So if you remember a couple months ago, I want to say, well, it might have been January or February, they had the Index Astartes for Crimson Fist. And inside of that, there were some new chapter not new chapter tactics, but there was some new stratagems, and I believe some new warlord traits and 3 relics, I think. Or it might have been 3 stratagems and a couple relics. So this goes back to what I was saying. Games Workshop is going to keep updating chapters like this and Crimson Fist along the way. And a lot of people are excited about Blood Ravens in the first place. I never was a big fan of them, but, you know, people like anything that's not Ultramarine, so whatever. That's all right, Clint. We know you'd be on. And it's just me tonight, so no worries. Yeah, so the Blood Ravens, which, Clint, I believe we're going to be getting you a Gabriel Angelus or something like that here pretty soon. So that might be your Space Marine chapter, buddy. I'll show you real quick since you just jumped on. Index Astartes Blood Raven coming next month. Oh, and there's my answer. It will be on sale in the middle of the month, July 19th. So, yeah, I can't wait either. I mean, I can wait because I'm not excited about Blood Ravens, but I'm excited about the fact that they're going forward with more rules. And it makes me very hopeful that in the near future, if they keep doing stuff like this, those chapters like from Forge World, the Minotaurs, Red Scorpions, Star Phantoms, and such will actually get their own Index Astartes. My guess is that probably by the end of the year, I would not be surprised if Christmas time, Games Workshop returns to something that they haven't done in, boy, I'd say since the late 90s, early 2000s, where they do the Index Astartes books. I think there's 4 of them where they talk about each of the different chapters inside of it. I don't remember there being any rules in it, but it was just kind of like, it might have been just a fluff book. I'm guessing that that's what they're going to be doing come December for Christmas time, is that there's going to be an Index Astartes book, and they'll have compiled probably, my guess is that we're going to see one more Space Marine chapter before the end of the year inside of the White Dwarf, and then when they compile it together, I bet they're going to put all 3 of the ones that they've done so far this year, plus a bunch more in it. And that's my guess, and that's kind of based on kind of what they've been going. They've been bringing back a lot of like nostalgia stuff. Maybe we'll see what their stratagems are. Probably have some stratagems about psychics. That's my guess. Yeah, they don't steal. They just conveniently find stuff laying around inside people's vaults and their ships and stuff. So that's the White Dwarf, man. I have to say this is definitely a good White Dwarf. Regardless if you're an Age of Sigmar player, Warhammer 40,000 players, it's a little light on the Lord of the Rings stuff, but Lord of the Rings is about to get a drop soon, or they just had a bunch of new models. Something is coming where they've got some new units coming, some new models, or some reprints of older models that we haven't seen in a while. But in this magazine, though, the short stories alone, I think, are worth it. but the rules for Fire Slayers look amazing. This is the first paint guide that they've done in a White Dwarf with the contrast paints, and I'm telling you, when you guys get your hands on it, take a look at what they did with this Magma Droth, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. In fact, as I look at this, I think we might have to use this technique on that corn blood dragon, or that corn dragon. I'm going to think about that. Looks like we had a couple more people on. I definitely see Clint. I just like showing this thing off, so guys, bear with me. Clint or anybody else that just got on, we've got a charity army that we're doing for for Warzone Houston. We're doing Blades of Corn, and I'm so excited about this model. This is the body of the dragon that we have. This is the Forge World dragon. This is just its main body. And just give you a size comparison, guys. This is the last time I show it, but this is how big the dragon's main body is. All right, last time, I promise. I'm just so excited about having this model, and thank you, Mr. or Mrs. Donor, for this. We'll call them Bruce Wayne, or the Wayne Foundation, because they donated this and Scrax. Oh, Clint, we got this in today. So those were donated to us. So anyway, so yeah, looking at that contrast paint article, the first one in White Dwarf, looking at how they did the Magma Droth, I might actually adopt that for this dragon. I think it would actually be really freaking cool to do that. Anyways, going back to White Dwarf, man, they also show off in this article the Mordant Earth. It is the new crackle that they've got for the new technical line. I'm going to try to do a close-up picture here. That's what the crackle looks like over, I think it's like Fire Slayer Orange or whatever they use there. So my friend Kevin, I think I said he is doing this army, Fire Slayer army. We just found how to do his army the right way. He's going to have to we're going to pop off all his Fire Slayers and do his bases like this, I think. This is going to be amazing. So basically it's just get it orange, get it all nasty looking, and then drop the mordant down and some thick coats, let it crackle, and then clean it up. Man, that I might have to redo my own bases. So yeah, Captain, that is going to be fun to paint. Since we're doing that on the 24-hour live stream, I still haven't figured out how we're going to break up who's going to paint what, because I'm very kind of a control freak when it comes to painting. Even though it's not my army, it's going to be donated. It's still my army, my project, so nobody's touching the dragon. The dragon is mine to paint. I think Ski is actually going to paint all the metallics on everybody, and then somebody else will handle probably the Flesh Hounds, and somebody will handle the Blood Warriors. But Vorgath, I think that's its name, and Scrax, those are my models, and nobody gets to mess with those. Let's see if I can show you Scrax here. Yeah, like, man. So here is Scrax legs. Check it on the undercarriage. Okay, so his junk is not on there. That's good. And here's his main body. I mean, he is a big mamba jamba. I'm not even sure that's how he goes on here. Yeah, there we go. He's going to be a big boy. So this is going to be another one of those that I'm probably going to be very picky about. I'll be like, it'll be just Ski and I that will paint this one too. I'll be like, Ski can paint the armor, and then all the skin will be mine. Everything else will be mine. I really like doing the detail work, so so there might not be a lot for other people to paint, but there'll be plenty for me to paint. Because originally the project for the Montrose Center and the Veterans Group was for me to do just by myself a 24-hour live paint stream. Yeah, Clint, that is a new big corn guy. He is really monstrous, and he's actually going to be, him and the dragon are the two leaders of the force that we're doing. Then 10 blood warriors, 2 groups of 5, and 5 flesh hounds. And then I think there's like 60 points left over for you to do whatever you want. But yeah, somebody's going to be really lucky, whoever's going to win that. And even if, man, I'll tell you what, even if you are not an Age of Sigmar player and you're there at Warzone Houston, getting your hands on that will be, you'll want to play Age of Sigmar with that sucker. So yeah, I'm looking forward to painting that. And now, actually, thanks to this white dwarf, the June white dwarf, I now have a way to use this contrast paints, and I think I just solved the conundrum I had about how I'm going to paint it. Yeah, so man, I'm really excited about this. So let's see here. What time is it? Oh, we're still got plenty of time here. We're still trying to keep these shows to about an hour. So I was rambling. White Dwarf, Demons of Slanesh, new War Scrolls battalions, and a special character for Fire Slayers is in there. The normal, about 4 short stories in there, or not even really short stories. Yeah, about short stories. And a couple of painting articles. Actually, a lot of painting articles. There's they really go into basing in this magazine. There's at least 3 separate articles throughout the White Dwarf that talks about basing your models. Some of them, and they're all talking about the new redone models or technical paints. If you guys hadn't seen, they did like essentially 165 new paints that includes the technical line is what came out this last weekend. A lot of them are just reformulated or packaged in a new jar, but a lot of them have just been completely redone. Like Balthazar Gold got an upgrade. Essentially, it's not going to be used Balthazar Gold. You'll notice that it had a very bad tendency not to dry out like ceramite white, but it would have this weird separation with the reds, the water, and the gold, and then it would get all weird and gooey and clumpy. So apparently they fixed that, so you shouldn't be having those problems anymore. Speaking about some of that stuff, when you guys get into like the Corax White, the new Corax White base paint, the new Wraithbone and Grey Seer base paint, just be aware, I think we said it last week, these things have been sitting in, yeah, on Ski and I talked about that. These have been sitting in a warehouse for a while. So they're going to require a little shaking and a little stirring. Like I bought a new thing of Corax White today. It was separated and it was a little gooey, but I just used a stirring stick, spun it around a couple times, wiped it off, and then shook it, and it was just regular base paint and the right consistency. So it's just that it's been sitting there for a while. So as soon as you get it, give it a good shake, and you shouldn't have any problems. So trying to think if there's anything else. So if you missed the talks, we talked about Apocalypse, on how this game is going to be essentially playing Epic, but with your full-scale models today. And we talked about the upcoming Paint-a-thon on July 6th. That will be 10 a.m. Central Time to 10 a.m. Sunday morning. So the 6th and the 7th, from the 6th to the 7th. We don't know who all is going to be on. It's definitely going to be myself, Ski, I believe Kyle Valdez, one of our resident Age of Sigmar aficionados and TOs will be helping us out, I believe. and maybe TJ will be on to give us some painting tips. So who knows, maybe we'll get Clint on and he can maybe partake in the painting, or maybe he'll be there to play with his orcs in a game of Kill Team. So we're going to have a lot of activities going on during that full 24 hours. It's not just going to be sitting there watching me paint. We're going to be very interactive and doing stuff so you guys can at least be entertained for a little bit before you need to turn off and go binge watch Jessica Jones or The Boys on Amazon Prime, whatever. So let's see here. I don't think I got anything else. We covered the White Dwarf. We covered the White Dwarf. I think that's about it, guys. Oh, I did have a message from somebody asking, hey, when am I going to start doing my painting videos again? Real soon. The main thing is I need to get this new desktop computer up and going. And I'm not very, I can build a computer. I can do all of the mechanical part, but I'm not very good with the software and getting it all set up. So I'm actually having somebody work on it, and I haven't had to get them to do it. So as soon as I get that, and then I get the computer to Jonathan, and Jonathan's going to upload or download all of the software needed to connect to YouTube and Twitch. I'm going to resume, and hopefully really, really soon, because I've been working on a project for Adepticon, and I want to be able to show that off as I'm doing it. Essentially, I've been Adepticon for next year. I've talked about it a little bit. It's basically a very special project where every single model is going to be 100% customized. I'm not going to be going in like I wanted to do with my custodes from Las Vegas Open and what I wanted to do with these Red Scorpions. I'm now actually going to be doing with these guys. So to help out, I've got 3 pages now of notes on how each guy is going to be standing or sitting, what arms they're going to be having, the position of weapons, what weapons they're going to have, all that. I mean, top to bottom, what they're going to look like. And I've started doing sketches, and I actually got a new sketchbook, so I'm actually going to redo all my sketches. It's a Horus Heresy sketchbook that they came out with. It's actually on Games Workshop's website. It's like $30 for this very nice leather-bound sketchbook. It's really cool. So I'm going to be using that to do all my sketches. And so once I have all that ready, I want to be able to plop down in front of you guys and show you the construction, how I do all the construction. Because I know we have a lot of people asking, like, how do you do conversions? How do you measure? How are you going to cut the model? Especially some of the crazy conversions I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be butchering a lot of intercessors and reavers to do what I want to do. In fact, I'll probably be wasting about a box worth of each of those just to pull off the conversions I want. So I got that really super specialized army that's coming. And thankfully now I can actually move forward with it because the new repulsor tank, the Executioner, is coming out. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that new Space Marine repulsor with the big long gun, it's actually finally coming out. That's going to be out on July 6th. Getting 2 of those. I don't care what the rules are. I don't care. There's no way that it's more points than I've already accounted for. I'm allowing up to 350 points for it, fully decked out. So I'm going to run 2 of those. So I'm going to get those because they look really cool. Anyway, so back to that project. Oh man, that chili is rough, guys. Oh, so we're going to be doing that project. I want to do that project live, and it might not happen until after Warzone. So probably the week or 2 after Warzone Houston. So maybe like the 22nd or 23rd of July. That's when we might start it up. About that 3rd weekend of July, 4th weekend, sometime after Warzone Houston. And so it'll be probably about a month of the construction phase. and then we'll do another video. We'll start the videos with the actual painting of everything, and everything. This is going to be, I'm not going to do like my normal mass painting. I know some people wanted to see some more, not bulk painting, but batch painting. But this project is going to be about precision, and I need these models to look really awesome because I want to win whatever awards are available at Adepticon. And since Golden Demon is going to be there, I'm also going to be working on my Golden Demon miniature entry for that as well. So we're going to be filming all that. And my years in IT, so yeah, I've got to pretty much threaten Ben to get on working on my computer and get Jonathan in. I missed the opportunity this last weekend. I had them both in store. I didn't bring up my computer, and I should have, and I regret it. But I'll get them on it, and we will get that up and running real soon, I promise. Because right now we don't have the computer to do live streaming there at the store and in our studio. So if I can get mine up and running, it has like 4K capabilities. It's got a lot of, I mean, it's not like top of the line. We're not gonna be able to take over the world with it, but it's got good enough that we can live stream with it. So I think that's it, guys. You guys have anything for me? I know there's like about a 15, 20-second delay, so I'll give you guys a chance. Any last minute questions? Man, I am exhausted. Working on Warzone Houston has been a delight and stressful. We are going to try to live stream. I'm waiting to see if there's any last minute questions. We are going to try to live stream probably Age of Sigmar, ideally, for at Warzone Houston. If not, we'll do Warhammer 40,000. We'll have a couple, I'll have a handheld. We'll be doing a couple videos that we'll upload to you guys. That way you guys can see what Warzone Houston is like. We're almost at 200 people. We'll actually end up being shy of 200 participants just because of space. But we will have over 200 people there because we got vendors and people are going to be coming in and out just to see what's going on. News crew. Looks like we're actually going to be on the news, I'm hoping. Between Ski and myself, we're reached out to 2 different groups or 2 different local news channels to see if they're going to be able to come out. So, and then a couple of podcasts are going to be there. Inside the Gamer, it's going to be there. And so, yeah, man, Warzone is going to be so much fun. All right, so I'm done rambling. And I'm just about over. I'm a little bit over in time. Yeah, being on the news will be cool. I'm really hoping so because that means Warzone Houston will have made its mark, and next year will be even bigger. And if we have doubled in size every year, so I'm really hoping that this next year we will double again. I'll take 50% growth, but man, if we could double again, go to like 400 people in 1 year, oh god, it'd be so awesome. All right, so no more wish listing. You guys have been great. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe. You guys can share it out to your friends and family. If they can just come in and like the channel or subscribe, really, that's the biggest thing. Get them to subscribe. Friends and family, co-workers. The more people that we get, the bigger that we get, we can go to Games Workshop and say, look how many followers we have that subscribe. And they can go, they'll go, okay, guys, here you go. Here's a whole bunch of new leaked information, or here's copies of a new game that's coming out, or you guys want to play test for us. You know, basically, we can be that one of those inside groups. But we need more followers. So please spread us around. Friends, family, coworkers, they just have to go in and subscribe. I'm not saying go make a whole bunch of accounts, you know, because that's illegal or against YouTube's policies, but just have them subscribe, have them come check us out, man. Help us grow. And thank you, Patreon supporters. If you're not a Patreon supporter, follow the link. And we really appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good night.